All right. Yeah, we're live. Without further ado, waiting for Twitch to get started there, but it seems that we're all good to go. So, first of all, I gotta make a face for the thumbnail. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling about coding this rig builder. It's a pretty extensive process that has many different stages. Right now, in the first stage, we are taking care of the interface and the way it is reading the methods that we are registering to execute the code. But this is only the beginning, right? This is just the actual thing that's executing the code. But how about the code, you ask me? What about the code? What is it going to do? What is it that you're executing? So we're executing a code for a facial rig initially that will be a hybrid of a blend shape and joint based rig. So right now we're looking at the Hawking Phoenix rig that I've worked on uh, before, I believe, almost a year already. And this rig has an interesting approach for the movements of the mouth, but it has no blend shapes to it. Not in the traditional sense, where you are actually sculpting the positions and applying to the rig. And this is one of the ways that you could do a facial rig, but in this approach here, I tried to use a more dynamic approach where we are simulating the movements of the muscles. And with that movement, then we are combining these muscles using different sorts of techniques. And yeah, the result is what we saw on the presentation. And it's pretty, it represents well the movements of the mouth, but it lacks a few other things that might be only fixed using the blend shapes, right? So yeah, that's what we're working towards. That's what I am working on the code to get in the future, to get a rig that's going to be scalable, and it's a thing that we're going to be able to reuse. All right. That being said, let's do it. Boom. So, as I have been saying, and I think it's important to freeze that long projects like this, they are just long. So if you want to eat an entire elephant, you got to do it one bite at a time. I know I've said this 100 times already, but I think it's what keeps me going. So yeah, I have some coffee here, and in a Harry Potter mug provided by my lovely wife, and it's actually pretty late for coffee. I guess I'm gonna sleep late today, but it's fine. All right. So where did we stop yesterday? So I was working on defining the steps. I believe we had something. Yeah, I was defining the steps of the or the folders for the data folders for placement of the data for the rig. So the way it's going to work is we're going to have all the data stored for skin clusters. So to be more specific about skin clusters, it is wherever you bind the joints into the mesh, then you need a way to store the values or store that skin painting that you did and be able to then re-import it later on, right? So the way to do it, or the way that I'm doing it, is I am exporting a JSON file with the basically almost like a spreadsheet. It's not a spreadsheet; it's a JSON file. But I guess the easiest way would be to see like the almost like the component manager. I think that's what's called there, where you can see the values for each of. So for each vertex, you have all the joints that are assigned as influences to that vertex, and the values for each one of them. I mean, I guess entertainment is hard to it's hard to entertain people with this kind of talk, but it's also what it is, right? It's rigging, baby, and it's fun. It's especially fun if you think that this is something very important in the pipeline, just like every other role. Not This is not the most important role by no means, but I feel good about creating tools that other people use and that make projects viable, and have involvement with the technical side. Enough talk. Let's keep going. So okay, so we have the scripts folder defined here. So it's going to be scripts, but it's not. It shouldn't be just scripts. Someone was telling me that it should be. I think it was. I forgot it was yesterday who was telling me to use os.path.join to join this paths, and I believe that's a good way. Like, it's a good guaranteed way to get the correct result. And but we don't like this. We're not getting a correlation of the scripts there, for example, with the information that we are joining here. So to make this in a way that we can then uh, recall it later on the code, we need to use some sort of the dictionary. And it may be that the dictionary, so if there was a dictionary, I would say it would be something like, let's create it on the first place here. So if there was a dictionary, it would be something like self dot project directories dictionary, right? And with this, then instead of having all of those attributes, we can just have like data. So let's go by what is there? So scripts there. I don't know if we need the dir though, because it's obvious that. So initially, let me just put none and each on one of them, so that I can type all of them. So it's going to be so. First of all, obviously, it's the root. And I'm just going to assign none as well. So it's root, then it's scripts, then it's data, then it is geo, then it is blend shapes, and then it is skin clusters. So the reason why skin clusters. So as I said, the reason why it would be interesting to have this inside of a folder is because we're going to have to loop through these paths, and after we loop through them, we need a way to know, especially on this function here, where I'm going to be finding. So this one here, for example, for well, this is an actual if, but yeah. Anyways, I'm going to have a function where I'm just going to check all of the all of the paths for the directories, and I need a way to return which which kind of thing was that wasn't found. So because if I have just the directory that I want to check, I can return to the user, look, there's nothing on assets geo blend shape geo, for example. But that's hard to read. You need something specific, such as root, scripts, data, geo, blend shape, skin cluster. So if you have a message popping up, to the user, then you're going to be able to just quickly identify what was not found. So say check the main directory, the root directory, and I couldn't find the geo or the blend shape folder. So it's going to tell you that, and it's going to prompt you with, would you like to create that then? And yeah, so system scan clusters. So as I've started to work more and more with code, I start to grow a little like impatient with like short namings such as sys for system or something like that, G or BLDS for blend shapes and things like this, simply because it's hard to read later on. You don't know who's going to be reading it. You don't know if people are going to understand what you're trying to mean. So for that reason, I'm trying to always uh, have the full names of things, even when it's too large of a naming. I tend to use that. Right. So the root path, I'm getting the workspace here, and that's what it should, and that's what it should be. So I'm just going to copy most of the things that I have here right now. Uh, maybe the root I need defined previously, because otherwise I'm going to be calling stuff. All right. So yeah, let me check here. The Yeah, okay. So just keep going here. So I'm just defining one of the variables here, so project root path, and then I can, so this here, I don't know if it's, it might be silly to just software root path. So you see, this is what I was trying to do here, just create one single, that's not very useful for us. This plus here, I mean, I think the most guaranteed ways to join the path is really to do it with the os, because it's going to return us a path, a guaranteed path. So I'm just going to use this for now. Maybe I'll have to change it later, but that's also why I will probably just add like yeah, I'll probably register a method here to just print all of the, yeah. So this is a good goal, to have this rig builder printing all of the paths, and if we have something inside of this path. So this is our first test, and then after that we're going to check how we're going to prompt it to the user, and keep moving. So data, oh, that was the data, but I can just change it. And then so data, it's going to be simply data, and then we'll move to geo. So the geo directory is going to be assets, and then it's going to be geo, and going to be model geo. So this is one that doesn't exist, right? So scripts and data are folders that are standard to the Maya project, although you can also create a project without them. But it's necessary to check if that exists before proceeding. So blend shapes is going to be assets as well. Geo blend shapes. And on the other ones, I added. I mean, if you are inside of the folder geo, I think it's redundant to just have double geo here. I'm just not going to have this. Uh, and then os dot path dot join sub dot project root path. That's going to be data skin clusters model. Same thing. I mean, the other one I've added like a short word here at the end for skin cluster. I think it's redundant. I'm just not going to do it. I'm just going to leave. If it's inside of the folder skin cluster, obviously we are relating to skin clusters, right? So then os path join self project root path, and this is the same thing. Data skin cluster, and then it's just the system. Boom. I think we got it. So that being said, again, I'm going to keep moving, and if things are not the optimal way, I'll just get back and change them, right? Rather than be, I've done this a lot throughout my attempts to develop stuff, with like trying to figure out the right thing to do, the absolutely right thing to do. And yeah, sometimes you just gotta do it and you're gonna find out one way or the other. So yeah, let's keep going. And I think I'm gonna have some music today on my end. It's Friday. Hey, happy Friday. If you are ever listening to this, happy Friday. Putting on some music here. Let's see what we got. All right. So yeah, so now I have added all the folders. So then the next step is I'm going to create a function to check all of those folders, and project root path, and just make sure that all of them are created, or that just make sure that these folders are there's any sort of check being done. So first of all, I'm just going to print this the path straight from the variables, and see what is inside of the variables, and I'm going to get a next step. By the way, the name of the method is going to be print all paths. So for for uh, for here in self dot project dir dict print. I'm gonna print the self. I'm gonna print the dir, or the dir name here is not dir. directory name. And this is what's going to be on this side, directory name. And then, and this is also, actually, I'm wrong about this. Okay, okay. Dot format, oh, dot format, and then it's going to be the direct, now it's directory name and the actual directory. All right, so this should be printing all of our methods here. And the other ones, I think they have check project there. This is like just wrong because it's not, there's nothing on it. I'm just gonna like cancel it for now. I'm just gonna add this one here instead for now. So this is going to be print all paths. And then we're going to have this attached to check project structure. That's fine. This one's going to be off for now. And this is going to be the print all paths. And this should be good enough for us to test if the paths are being executed correctly. So first I'm going to turn it off and open it again. And then we have here print all paths, and let's see if it works. Boom. See? But it doesn't though. Oh, damn. It just closed our folder. But it's good. It's working then. And okay, so e data. This is not what we need here. Okay, so you see already I am making a silly mistake here. Why is it not joining though? Doesn't. Okay, so this is probably something that I just don't know how to use. So I'm just going to check here. So Python, os, path, join, and let's check how it actually works. So as you can see, there's no like brackets on the beginning here. Well, although this here does. Okay, let's try that. So it seems that we don't need any of this. But let's test with 2 first, and then we will be. Yeah, it does work here. But I would like to have a closed bracket though. So can we have this? Yeah. So seems to work fine. So we don't need this, but then I don't know if I understand the purpose of having this ospath thing, ospath join. Seems a little bit unnecessary to me, but I am not sure. So yeah, okay, it's working. If it works, it works. We all live happy and fully. Right, so we can see all of our paths here have been uh, joined, and now we have an exact path to the project and to the files. So the next thing then is to have a check to see if we have something and if these folders actually exist, right? Uh, so print all path, and then we're gonna do define check existence. So again, for their name in self dot project predict if os dot path dot exists uh, self dot project predict and then their name, then we are going to then print. So this is actually not existent. So I'm going to print their name and then, oh, once again, same mistake. It's going to be variable dot format their their name, and then it's going to be path. So self dot project predict and then their name. So this is just to print for us whether also I'm gonna give it like instead of a variable I'm just gonna say path non-existent. How do you spell unexistent? It just seems like unexistent. Non-existent. What have I missed? Oh, path unexistent. Awesome. It just doesn't recognize it, but so this is then check existence. What is it? Is it the S? Impossible, right? Oh man, I'm not gonna put you guys through unexistent. Oh man, existence. Inexistent. Oh, that's why. Isn't existent a word? It's non-existent. Not existing. Having no existence. Yeah, inexistent. Project inexistent. So how about, yeah, it's the same thing. I'm not gonna be fighting for 5 minutes with the proper word to do this. I'm just going to keep going here. Inexistent. Is that right? Inexistent. Okay. Don't want to do it. Don't do it. So anyways, I'm going to just add here check paths. Just check their vectors existence. One more, Jesus Christ. Check project structure, check existence. I'm going to change this from check print all paths to print. Yeah, well, let's put it like dear paths. Print all directory paths. All right, so now we have the directory paths in place. And we have the two methods here. Line item data method. Right. Oh, I see. That's a method. I was trying to call a method that wasn't was being parsed in the wrong way. That was my fault. Okay, so here's what we got. 3 of the paths are non-existent or inexistent. Is it an existent? Jesus. Path non-existent. Okay. All right, so this shows it's small progress, but it's just as I said, it's like a little bit of progress at a time, and we're gonna keep moving, right? Hello. let's let's stop for a moment and realize that we are working on a script on a Friday. So I can see that there's loads of people watching right now, and that's why I don't even care what I'm talking about because I'm basically talking to myself, which is what I do anyways, talk to myself. So, all right, keep going. A little bit of coffee, and let's keep going. So it is checking all the paths, it's checking the existent ones. And we can just add this to self dot not found directories. Let's do update. And then I'm just gonna do their name. It's just copying the other. Predict. All right. So we have also added. So we are printing a statement. Also, we are adding it to the not found directories. It's good. So this is a very so instead of having again doing this on the fly right now, what we're doing is actually printing the paths and then printing the one that are non-existent or they're inexistent. And I could Yeah. So now I'm probably gonna have like a function here, and also I think it's interesting, at least for functions that are not user methods that the user can access, uh, to have at least some visual indication that this is a build method or something that, well, so that there's a clear distinction, because you could have like a get method or something that the user is going to be using. uh, Prompt user about missing paths, missing direct. So what was the Maya thing for? Maya Python user yes no confirm dialog. Confirm dialog. Long. So again, this is a test, and most likely this is not going to be exactly like this, but this is how we are working right now. So yeah, I'm just formatting it in a more interesting way right now. And this should bring us, should return us something. If it should return us yes or no, right? Return string indicates how the dialog was dismissed. If the button pressed, then if the button is pressed, then the label of the button is returned. If the dialog is closed, then the value of the flag dismiss string is returned. All right, so user input. Then we're gonna get something like if user input equals yes equals yes. So for now, we're just gonna print creating directories. So we're just gonna check now. Why? Yeah, I understand. It's just saying that. So it's underscore, like it has a line underneath it just because it could be a static method, and that's fine. But it is an action, so it needs to be here and it needs to be registered. Oh, yeah. So again, this is all So this is just going to help us check the system's working. It's also just a step by step too. Okay, I need to reload this. Let's see. Yeah, creating directories is here. Okay. Okay, so I'm just values. Yeah, so now I'm just prompting the user with the actual missing folders, right? Oh, I've added the wrong thing. It's not values, it's keys because I just want the. Yeah, that's what we want. See, missing system skin clusters, system skin clusters, system skin clusters, skin clusters, geo, and blend shapes. So I believe I have a test project that I was using to create like work without breaking anything. But the blend shape should be missing as well because I don't remember creating any path similar to this. Yeah, blend shapes are here as well. Okay, it's working exactly as expected. Must be so I'm just checking the project and then I'm just prompting the user that missing directors. It's great. It is working. I don't know if it's a silly thing to stop the code to. Yeah, and also another question that comes up right away is what yeah, the fact that this is all inside like and I hate this thing with Python 2.7 where it doesn't. So this is a exact a perfect example of a problem with dictionaries on Python 2.7, or at least the way my I believe it's 2019 is the one I'm using, that the way that interprets the dictionary, because we have the dictionary here item by item, right? And then we are requesting this information and it's returning the information in a completely random order. What it means is that, for example, if I need to check if the path asset geo blend shapes exist, it is also on like a asset geo model. So we need to create the geo, but if this one here is coming first and this one is going to create problems, right? So listen, I believe I need to have yet another one here. So it's going to be like geo root. Yeah, so this would be more like it. So like we have now I'll explain it again. So we have the asset geo, right, and the asset geo model. So it's checking if if the order that the dictionary is accessed is random, then we could be checking first this folder this folder in a would be checked first, then this one. So if we create this folder, then what's going to happen is it's going to create this. So we need it. Would be interesting to have like this whole sequence of keys in a row, but it doesn't happen. So the solution is also to have it's just to have a list with all small dictionary packs. Then it comes in an order, but it's a shame, right? It's just annoying, I guess. But at least we know that we are on the way here. Okay, so we're a little bit closer. Check prior searcher, create new scene. Yeah, so now I'm just thinking like what's the logical action order of action here. Yeah, so let's just set ourselves into a project that we can actually test, because I'm going to start to destroy information here. So I think I had like a test project here. I think it was this export waits dev. I'm just going to create a new project. Uh, it's going to be 24. RigBuilder Fast Project. All right, so now we can just start destroying things. It doesn't really matter now. But so as I said, this is already a point where we're going to check the information that I'm giving you. So instead of having uh, instead of having this as a single dictionary, I will have to unfortunately just have this as multiple dictionaries. Well, okay, hold on. So I am going to have to restructure a bunch of things for this reason. Again, it's a shame, but it's just what it is. All right, so again, I don't necessarily am in love with this idea of having like small, like just one key dictionaries inside of a list. Not a fan, but I guess is the only way for us to have a exact match there. And this, to be honest, this thing here of printing all the paths, it's just lame for their data, which is just a dictionary, or and this is a list. This is look, it starts to get silly. So dict list, how? Anyways, it is what it is. So I'm getting a dictionary back. Say, I think the way to recall this is going to be dear data dot keys uh, 0. Silly, silly. Dear data dot values. I mean, it's already complaining. I didn't even get the data. Why? Class key views does not define get error, so the operator cannot be used for this instance. But it is returning it to me as a list, right? So what's the point? Let's see what it returns though. The thing's gonna break right away. Yeah, but it is a list, you see. So I think it's complaining, but it's going to work. Yeah, not ideal, but it works. It's gonna print like a line break after this. Touch and I think this is a line break. Is it like this? Hmm, Python print line break. So it's almost there. It's just the other one. Now that's going to help us keep organized there. So you'll have a line break. Now I'm going to move on to the next data structure. All right. So again, it is complaining about something here. I know it's working, but I don't like when PyCharm is complaining about stuff. I'd much rather have it completely clean, but also at some point. Okay, so this is also interesting problem here. I don't like this the way this is being structured. To be honest, there has to be a better way. But I mean, then even if I got the newest version of Python and or at least Maya with the newest version of Python, not everybody would be able to use this with a new version. So there's not even a point. I have to do it like this. Okay, it gets to the point where we got to this, we get to the same thing, and it doesn't matter. So directories names, name list equals uh, name for name and dot self dot project here data. All right, so baby's coming into the house. Neném! Oh, yeah! Nossa, vem aqui agora, deixa eu ver. Não! Oi, a mamãe tá chegando já. Oi, tudo bem? Que saudade, vamos ver a minha aqui, ó, vamos ver. Uau, nossa, a minha chegou em casa, gente. Ai, que saudade que eu tava de você. E aí, você se divertiu muito hoje? É, não, 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 não. Você brincou muito com a Chiquita? Hum. Ah, o adesivo? Esse? Tá. Nossa! Ih, você não tá nem aparecendo aqui. Vem cá. Dá oi, fala oi. Oi, gente. É ali mesmo. É ali mesmo, é. Ó, olha ali, ó. Tá, mano, pode bater tanto mesmo. Nossa, nenenzinho, que saudade. Tá, papai já tá terminando, tá? Ah, ah. Baby, baby. Oiê. Right, so it's working. I just need to adjust a few more things here. So I'm printing these things because it's good to keep track of what's going on. So it's just good practice. Right, so things are being printed correctly, and now I'm just going to. E aí, meu amor?
Aceitar o seu papá, tá bom? Só dar um beijinho no papai? Não, 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 não. Um beijinho.
Peraí que eu tô.
Um beijinho. Um beijinho da Lua.
Não, já tô terminando já. Right, so I'm not sure if I want this to be a attribute because it's going to be available for the other. So I don't know if I want that. Let's try to have it like this for now. So this way, user input will be only available for this particular. So as you can see, I'm really like digesting the steps into very small, tiny steps. This way, like if something ever breaks, you have very clear steps like check existent, prompt user. So if it breaks here, is person like this information is being casted here. the creation of the directories is in another step, so you know exactly where the issue can be, right? All right, so here's going to, yeah, let's make the, so here's where we're going to check first the folder of the project to make sure that the files are not, that the files are indeed not non-existent, right? So data, we have nothing. Assets, we have nothing. So let's observe the assets folder. So we're gonna have here for, or even us dot make dears, or I don't know, for directory data in stuff dot not found directories, uh, us dot make dears, uh, 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 directory data dot values. So this should be it. It's going to get our values here, and should be that. Let's see print directories, create missing project directories. Done. Oh, done, and break the line. So now we're observing here the assets folder. See if it's going to run. So, oh, we're not registered. You have not registered this function. So it's going to prompt the user, and then it's going to, let's register that self dot register method should to be create missing directories. And that's going to be a child of check project structure. And the method is self dot, what's the name? Create missing directories. Right, so let's see if we get that going. So now it's registered, it should be here, create missing directories. So it's like print all directory paths, check directories existence, prompt user, create missing directories. Right, so we should get a message. Those are the missing directories. GeoRoot, geo blunt shape, skin, and then yes, and it broke. Good thing. Cannot concatenate string and list objects. What's the line? 191. Oh, but this is from a line from Python, so it's actually an error that I just on the way that I've passed the information. Uh, um, okay. So instead of doing that, we're just going to do another loop. So just to make sure, so the join on the make tier. I'm just checking. Yeah, it should be that. Osmake tier. Let's do it again. Make tier, but it's going to be in another way, right? So oh, you know what? I actually know what went wrong here. It's not even that. I think that the issue here is that yeah. So let's try to simplify this. So it's like directory list, and then we're going to do a list comprehension here. So directory, so data did or dir data dot values 0 for dir data in self dot not found. Right, and why is it freaking out? Because I have two things here. All right. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what happens here. So again, nothing here, nothing in this hand, nothing in this hand. Those are the non-existent directories, and they crashed. And it didn't create anything. It's good. Make the directory list. Fine. So let's go for the simplest possible thing for directory and directory list. Then I'm just going to do the simple and cut there. Then it's going to be directory. And it's directory because I'm going to change this. I just want the full name. All right, so let's see. Maybe that's the time where we actually get it. So here it is, empty folder. And we're going to open this up, run this, and crashed again. But it created the geo folder. Great. With the two blank, look, it's working. So why though? Data, screen cluster. The system cannot find the path specified. Yeah, I see. So this is the same issue that I was thinking. It cannot create a subfolder of a folder that doesn't exist, right? So this is more of so I said like in data, it should be I should create like a root folder here. So what I would do then is just add this before the skin cluster here. I'll add another one, which is um, so skin clusters root. Right? So the skin cluster root, then what I have is just instead of having look, because there's like skin clusters here and model, and the other one is skin cluster system, right? So this is just going to be the skin cluster. This is the root folder of skin cluster. It needs to be created before we add the two other skin clusters folder. So now look at that. This is also what's going to happen. Now the number of non-existent paths is going to reduce, right? So now it's just the skin cluster folder, and it's done. Nice. So now our project is done. So it has the data, skin clusters, model, system. And on the asset side, we have the geo, blend shapes, and model. And theoretically, this is what we have for the project right now. It could, in the future, we could add more things, but right now it is checking. So now if we run it again, uh, no. So yeah, so now if we run it again, you can see that no directories are missing. So it doesn't need to create anything, and it just completes the script. But right now it's still prompting a few mistakes. Like if I mean if there's nothing to be corrected, there shouldn't even be a prompt to the user. So this is something that we need to change. But now we have all the folders being created, and we can simply add more folders here if necessary for us to check during the process. I'm just gonna do a quick line break here in between this main folders here, so that we have a visual separation between the folders. Right now, I'm just going to delete these guys here. I don't care about them. So we have all the folders being created. Check existence. So on this user input, I am going to prompt the user only if there are any missing directories on the name. So here we can do this, like if missing directory list. So if there's anything in the list at all for us to check, then I'm going to prompt the user. Otherwise, I'm just going to print else print uh, back project, no missing directories. Directories. Directories, yeah. Okay. And a line break. And then on the create missing directories, in the create missing directories, I'm not going to say I'm gonna say here if if self dot user input equals none, not. Yeah, so this is silly. So that's why it's complaining, because it's like if not self. So first we're gonna check if there is, yeah. So that's it. If there is a, because if there's no user, if user input is equal to none, as we established here on the beginning, right? So user input in the beginning is none, and then the either whether it's yes or no, it's going to come from the user dialog. But for that, we need to have missing files on the missing directories on the list. So if there's no missing directories on the list, nothing's going to be prompted. It's going to say no missing directories. The user input is going to continue to be none because it was not modified by this function. And then if it is none, just going to pass through this and it's going to print that it's done, right? So now we're going to check if that's a reality here. So since all of our folders have already been created because we run this function before, and we're going to try to delete all of them as well to test. But assets, geo, blend shapes, model are here. This is our own folders, and then skin clusters, model system. This is all created. So this is all that we defined, and this is what should be checked. And you can see that right away. It doesn't prompt anything, right? And if we then delete these folders, it's going to prompt us. But first, let me check why is it double. Window paths. Skipping two lines. Yeah, it's because it's skipping here. So if there's no missing, so here's like if self dot not found directories dict, that's going to print a break. Otherwise, no. Well, there is a dictionary, but what? There's a list, but there's something inside of it. If OSPAC exists, it's going to print. Otherwise, what am I doing here? Right, I just don't like the silly double line break here. It's completely silly. It's not even necessary that I figure this out right now. Just like to have it clean. No one does line break. Why is it breaking? Right. So just as a test, then let's go back and delete our folders here inside of data, inside of asset, and let's run our script again. Let's see if it's going to check that indeed. So right now it has none of the folders, or at least the ones that we deleted. It has indeed checked here. So georoot, geo, blend shapes, none of them existent at this point. So it created that. Let's check if the folders have been been created, and they have. All right, so that's a good start. So now we have our data. Now we can start on the next step, I guess. So the next step is then create new scenes already being created. Let me check where this is being done. So there's project, and then there should be, so the scene is in the rig. It's weird. Maybe the scene should be on the buildable. I don't know. I'll think about it. Yeah, so I also think of like I don't like this thing here. It's, it's dirty. Like it's not wrong, but the fact that PyCharm is complaining about it, it bothers me. But anyways, it is working. The project is being checked. The folders on the project directory are being created, are being checked, and now we have to populate these folders with data, right? So for that, this is another step, another issue. The next thing is then maybe I'll start to just importing geometry so that we can have a visual something happening on the scene. Right now, I'm just creating this silly ball or like sphere on the middle, which is nothing. But yeah, we should be able to just like bring in the geometry and start like having something to build, and then maybe working on the map and something like this. Oi, amor. Vem cá dar tchau pro papai, vem? Tá bom, vem, dá tchau. And that's it, guys. That's it for today. Baby's in the house. We're gonna have a Friday with the family. And that's it. Mia's gonna say bye bye. Fala bye bye pro pessoal, amor. Bye bye. Ali, ó, lembra? Ali, ó, pra aquele ali, ó. Mas bye bye. Bye bye. Tá bom. Vamos lá brincar então? Vamos lá. All right. So next stream, we're gonna continue with the development of the thing. As I say on the beginning, at the beginning and at the end. Oh, stop here. As I say on the beginning and the end, this is a gigantic elephant, and as the saying goes, sorry, as the saying goes, the only way to eat an entire elephant by yourself, is one bite at a time. And there's a lot of bites to go. Let's keep moving. It's almost 1 hour per stream that I'm doing, and there's a lot of work. So hopefully at the end of this we can learn and maybe streamline the process of creating something like this. I hope that when you know what to do, things are like a lot easier. Now obviously it's not like that streamlined, the process. We're figuring out and testing and making sure things are the way they should be. And but yeah, we're gonna get there. Anyways, have a good weekend. Have if I'm not here on the weekend, and we'll see very soon. Bye bye. Boom.